All right, let's jump right in. If you're a school owner in Nigeria, then you know the 2026 digital literacy deadline is, well, it's right around the corner. The government set the rules, and now the ball's in your court. So today, we're going to unpack what this whole mandate is really about, not just checking a box for compliance, but how you can actually use it to grow.
And this really is the big question, isn't it? I mean, for a lot of school owners, this mandate just looks like a giant, expensive headache. But what if that's the wrong way to see it? What if this whole thing is actually the biggest opportunity you've had in years to just blow past your competition?
All right, so let's be real about the challenge. The government's new rule for digital literacy from Primary 4 all the way up to JSS 3, it's a huge deal. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how we're all supposed to approach teaching and learning.
And this is the reality for so many schools, right? You've got ICT labs that honestly feel more like museums. The internet is so spotty you can't even get through a simple search. You have amazing teachers, brilliant with a textbook, who just haven't had the training for tools like Google Classroom. And the big one? With national exams going fully computer-based, you know parents are getting worried. They're asking, is my child going to be ready? That's the quiet crisis happening right now. But here's where we flip the script. What if you stop thinking about this as just passing a government inspection? What if you use this whole mandate as a launchpad? Imagine compliance isn't even the main goal. It's just a side effect of becoming the most modern, most future-ready school around. See? That changes the entire game. So, how do you actually make that happen? Well, it's definitely not about just buying a bunch of new computers and calling it a day. It's about building a whole digital ecosystem from the ground up. And that's where a solution like the Anomalio hybrid learning model comes in. Let's break down how this approach aims to turn that big challenge into a huge advantage.
And the key here is that this isn't some quick Band-Aid solution. It's a total transformation, and it's built on three main pillars. First, you get the actual hardware, the infrastructure, to make sure your students are completely ready for those computer-based tests. Second, you empower your teachers with AI, making them incredibly efficient. And third, and this is the game changer, you get a proven strategy to turn all this shiny new tech into a magnet for new students.
So let's dig into that first pillar, the infrastructure. We're talking about hardware, but not just any hardware. Instead of fragile, complicated laptops, the idea is to use these super durable, virus-free Chromebooks. The goal is dead simple. When your students sit down for their national exams, using that keyboard should feel just as natural as picking up a pen. That confidence, that's what leads to better results. Now for the second pillar, which is all about your teachers. Think about all the time they spend on things like writing lesson notes, creating quizzes, marking papers. It's a ton of work. The idea here is to train them to use AI tools, like Gemini, right inside Google Classroom to automate a lot of that. This isn't about replacing teachers, not at all. It's about freeing them up to focus on teaching. It's like giving them superpowers.
Okay, so this all sounds great on paper, right? But does it actually work in a real Nigerian school? Well, let's look at the proof. We're going to dive into the story of Glitter's Future Leaders Academy in Lugbe, because what happened there shows you exactly what's possible when all these pieces click into place. Get a load of this number, 70, plus 70 new students in a single session. I mean, that's not just a little bit of growth. That's a massive jump. They literally had to build new classrooms just to keep up. And why? It's simple. Parents saw that new Chromebook lab and they got it. They understood that this was a school that was truly preparing their kids for the future. And if the numbers aren't enough, listen to this. The kids started asking for computer club more than they asked for sports. Just think about that for a second. When your computer class becomes more popular than football, you know you've hit on something special. It wasn't just a required class anymore. It was the coolest thing happening at the school. And that's how a government mandate turns into your #1 selling point.
So, what kind of support makes this possible? Well, first off, there's the licensing. They help schools get Google for Education software for zero license costs. Then there's onboarding. You get a 30-day guided setup with their specialists. For connectivity, they actually know how to make things like MTN High Netflix and Starlink work seamlessly for learning. And get this, they even have a contract buyout program to help you get out of deals with old, outdated providers. The whole point is to take the risk out of the equation for you. Okay, so after seeing all this, you're probably thinking, right, where do I even start? Well, the path to getting ready really begins with one simple thing: figuring out exactly where your school stands today. And the first step in this model is a quick 15-minute readiness audit. And this isn't a sales pitch, it's a real strategy session.
Their specialists will actually help you create a roadmap. They'll look at how your curriculum lines up, figure out what digital training your teachers might need, and even stress test your current hardware and internet to see where the weak spots are. You walk away with a clear plan.
And really, it all boils down to this one powerful idea. They don't just teach technology, they build the schools that parents choose first. And that just reframes this whole conversation, doesn't it? The goal is no longer just about meeting a government requirement, it's about becoming the #1 school of choice in your area. So the real question isn't just about how you'll meet the 2026 deadline, it's about what kind of school you're going to build for the future.